There weren't very like specific Moroccan ones that I can remember, but there were a lot of like Arab artists like Ferouz and Kulthum, which are known as like very amazing vocalists.
Okay.
And I would listen to their music, and I didn't even know that I was listening to their music because I was really just listening to what my parents were listening to.
Sure.
And they would do these like insane runs, and I remember just being like a little kid sitting like next to the TV and being like, "How do you do that?" And then I would just like try to imitate it, and that's how I learned, just by hearing what they were doing with their vocals and practicing over and over again until now it comes very naturally. But it was something that I feel like I was making a part of my muscle memory at a very young age.
Wow. And I love that you mentioned muscle memory because the voice is a muscle and you
Yeah.
can work it out and you can teach it your voice. So, how old were you when you were like sitting by the radio or in your parents' car trying to imitate those vocals?
I was like 4 or 5. Like
Yeah.
I was very, very young. And I remember just being like with my like super nasally kid voice and being like, and I would just literally repeat the same run over and over again. It wasn't that smooth. It was very rough at the time. But like like a voice is a muscle, and everything that I've learned to really do with my voice has been like because I trained myself to do it.
So
Everything was like
cool.
learning process. I think the only thing that might come naturally maybe is tone, but
Wow.
even than that you can work on that. I think
Did you have vibrato starting out the gate or did you have to kind of imitate and train that too?
I always naturally had vibrato,
Okay.
and I actually, which is like a really weird thing because I know sometimes it's like the opposite, but I had to work on dialing it back. Like I
Yes.
know a lot of people work on adding it. I had to work on dialing it back because I feel like at times it was overpowering and like doing like I thought it was a little too much.
Hmm.
So I had to work on using it when I wanted it and not all the time.
Yeah, because if you have it naturally, then it's involuntary, which means you can't really control it unless you gain that
Yeah,
control by repetition. And when did
yeah.
your parents notice, like, hey, our kid's kind of really good at imitating these singers?
Well, my mom always has this funny story. She says like ever since I was a baby, she says that my cry was like I was singing, and every like all of her like aunts and her cousins would be like, "Why does your baby's cry sound like a melody, like a song?" And she was like, "I don't know."
Oh my
And
gosh.
when I got older, I would sing, and my parents would always like be super encouraging and listen to me sing, and and I think when I was 8 or 8, I wrote a song, and my mom thought I got it from like Google. She's like, and there wasn't AI at the time, so she's like,
Right.
whose song did you like take
Rip
off the
off.
internet?" I
Yeah.
was like, I wrote this myself, and I was like so offended. I was like, "What did you-" and then she went and she was like asking people. She's like, did she write this, or is this like a song?" And like finally she realized that I did write it, and I started performing at a very very young age. I was like 7 or 8, and like adults would come up to me, and I was like a little kid, and they would be crying, and I was like, "Why are you crying?" They're like, "Your voice is so beautiful
So
and like
moving.
so moving." And I was just like a little kid. I was like, "Why? Why are you crying?"
Right. It's fine. I just sang. It's like, go eat
So
some lunch.
literally, yeah, that's
Do you remember the place? You said 7 or 8 was your first like stage performance. Yeah. Do you remember the name of the place and like how many people were there and what you sang?
the first place that I performed was just like it was near the train station, or it was the train station, but they would hold um these private performances for people that were learning how to play the guitar or learning how to play an instrument, and it was kind of like an end of year recital. And I played a song I wrote called When I'm Hurt. And that literally I had to pull that out of my subconscious because I haven't thought of that in a very long time.
Wow.
And I wrote another song called Je pleure, which means I cry. Clearly I was very like sad as like writing
Yeah. You were like an
songs.
emo 7 year old.
I don't know why. And I was like a very happy kid, so everyone would come up to me and be like, "Are you okay?" like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, everything's fine. I just loved sad songs and like
Yeah.
emotional music. And that carried forward to my adulthood as well.
That's hilarious. And so the first time you performed was at a train station of songs that you wrote.
Yes.
Power sad ballads.
Yes. And funny enough, I actually played on my guitar, which was probably the first and last time I performed with a guitar.
Why the last?
I don't know, I gravitate towards the piano
So
so
do
much
I.
more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see myself as like a guitar artist. I feel like if I pulled up on stage with a guitar, especially with these nails, everyone would be like, this wouldn't even work.
The nails
But
gotta go, yeah.
they would have to go, and I don't think I can sacrifice them right now.
Same. Same.
So yeah, I've just been playing the piano mostly ever since.
Well, your voice does really lend itself beautifully to the piano. But I mean, listen, you're the artist to me that's full of surprises. And so I do challenge you one day to lop these suckers off and give us a little bit of a stripped down performance. And actually, speaking of stripped down, one thing I also love about you is that you do the full up version of your songs, but you also do the stripped down version. I'm gonna kind of take a little liberty here. A lot of people have asked me, why does she do that? And what I have surmised is this, and you tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of artists don't do stripped down versions because they don't want their voice to be naked. They feel like they need to have the production to kind of hide the imperfection of their voice. But you are a singer's singer, and you don't mind being naked with your voice because you're confident in its abilities. So the stripped down versions to you are more like when you first wrote it, and so it feels even more like home. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're very right, especially like at the start of my career. A lot of the songs I would like they would start very stripped down, and
Right.
then we would like build up the production. And so that's why it almost felt like just going back to its natural state when I would do these stripped versions. And with the music coming up, I have this idea for my debut album, and I already have the name for everything in my head. And I basically want to do a somewhat similar concept where I'll have my album, but then later on have something special for people that do like the more stripped versions of songs, but with a little bit more like drama. So I'm always thinking of how I can do that and how I can visit both of those worlds, which is like the pop world with like the production and like the drama, the fun, but then also have something more emotional for listeners that prefer that. And I also love
Yeah.
that too.
I'm one of those. I mean, does your voice ever get tired? Are there parts of your voice where you're like, yeah, I hate that vowel on this specific register of my voice, or is it just all amazing?
Oh, thank you. No, I definitely have pockets that stress me out more than others. Um, when I'm doing like a full belt on like a D, I don't even know if it's a D4 or 5.
Yeah.
I don't know the terms. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's for you. It's probably a 5.
D5. I'm always like,
Yeah.
either this is gonna come out super clearly, or my voice is gonna crack, or whatever it is. Because I'm very prone to voice cracks, and I'm always afraid that's gonna happen. But they only happen when I overthink it. The less I think, the more things come out very clearly and fluidly. So I try not to think. That's like my biggest problem. I'm like, if I psych myself out, and when I get sick,
Sure.
my voice really like diminishes. It's
Sure.
like, yeah, this is about what you can do with it, which sucks. And I used to never really get tired vocally, except on this last tour, like my North American tour. Um, when I did like I think I did 7 shows in 8 days.
Yeah. I mean,
I literally was like, now I know that I am never gonna do that again. Like that was not the move at all. And
that's
because
intense.
I'm singing from like A to Z. Like I'm doing every note, everything. And so I'm like, if I'm gonna do this, I can't tire my voice out like that. Like I need
Right.
to be very strategic with show dates.
Yes.
So now for the next tour, I know.
Well, you do live and you do learn. for someone, and you're really not formally trained, right? From what I've known of you.
No, I wasn't vocally trained, and I actually wanted before my tour to do some vocal lessons just to preserve my voice, and that didn't work out. So I was just online trying to learn and absorb as much as I could to preserve my voice. And I think that's something that I would do before my next tour. I would just learn vocal techniques and warm-ups to
Yeah.
really just, be safe with my voice, because that's like losing it is like the scariest thing in the world, and so I want to take good care of it. So
Yes.
for the next tour, that is definitely the first thing I'm going to do.
For sure. Yeah, it's 100% wise. And for someone that has not trained, right? I mean, the stamina that you do have and it's innately in you, the technique that you've developed is excellent. It really is.
Thank you.
When